Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome into Sports Daily on a Tuesday. Tommy Kester, Jacob Albrecht here on Sports Daily. Glad to be here with you today, and we got a big show for you today, of course. We'll talk the Royals getting that big win against the Diamondbacks in the opening game of their series at Kauffman Stadium. Some drama in that matchup. Results from the TBT inside Koch Arena. Shocking results for the Aftershocks. We'll get into that. Mass Street, they move on, and a whole lot more. Jacob, good morning. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm learning how to unmute a microphone. So we had a whole start there. Nobody could hear it because I was muted. We've changed things up here on the show. If you watch our video stream, you've known that for a few weeks. But we added another wrinkle. Now we can do video calls on our video stream with guests and things, and it requires one more step. And you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I didn't. Normally, Jad used to hit that, and so now I got to hit it, and that's time number one of we'll see how many. But it's good. We're good on a Tuesday. Went and rock and roll last night with the Offspring, which was fantastic. We told you we were headed out there last night, and it was even better than I thought it would be. Jam-packed, most crowded I've ever seen the Wave. And it was awesome. So we enjoyed that while taking in what became a pretty busy sports night all at the same time. The Royals game became the center of Major League Baseball to some degree tonight. I think for a lot of good reasons. We'll get into all of that. And yeah, I'm disappointed today that the Aftershocks fell in the second round. Pretty big bummer because Mass Street took care of their end, and then they couldn't get it done. And so we're going to have one of the teams potentially make it through, but we miss again that late tournament matchup between two of the local teams. So that was a bit of a bummer, but otherwise it was a fun sports night because of the Royals. And we're excited to be here. You can be a part of the program today as well. 869-1240, the IHOP hotline is open. We got Jad Chambers manning that for us today. We'll give away some HTO later in the program as well. All kinds of good stuff for you. What did you think of the show last night, Tommy?
It was great. It was awesome. I'm a little tired this morning. I think I crawled into bed little after midnight. It was maybe 12:15 when I got to bed. I left your house. It was right at midnight, I think, when we took an Uber. We wanted to be responsible, you and I.
Yeah.
So we got back, to, I think, to your place around a little bit before midnight. I got to bed a little bit after midnight. Alarm went off too early this morning here at the studios. It's been a little bit of a drag to get in this morning, but it was a good show. Those guys, here's the thing. Okay, so you and I are probably 20 years younger than the Offspring, and I'm probably more tired than they are this morning.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Like, they still have it. They can still bring
they went
it.
hard.
They can still rock. They went really hard on a Monday night in downtown Wichita. Considering, I mean, I think they're all like right around 60, and they went hard last night.
I do think they could probably do that show in their sleep. Like they could probably, roll out there, do a sound check, chill, and, put in 3 or 4 hours work for a 90-minute show. But they've then got to somehow hit the road. It's a Monday night in Wichita. And I think they were even surprised, like, whoa, what is this here? But it was awesome. It was really, really good. And honestly, like of the, well, I'll call it our generation, though, even though they're a little older than us, like of that crew, they probably rocked. I've seen the Chili Peppers, kind of. They rocked harder than all of them, and that was awesome. And they embraced it, and they're still like throwing back to those days of they're probably dads and grandpas now too. But they hit it. It was awesome. It was really good.
We kept looking at each other as the show went on, like, man, I forgot about that song. I forgot about that one. I mean, they've got such a library of hits, and everybody knows like the biggest ones. They know Self-Esteem, and they know Come Out and Play, and maybe even Pretty Fly for a White Guy. But like there were a bunch of songs that I had forgotten about. I'm like, oh my gosh, that takes me back to high school. I haven't heard that one in 25 years. So it was fun. It was a nice trip down memory lane. The nostalgia kicked in. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll echo what you said. Phenomenal crowd. Wichita showed up at Wave last night for a Monday night. It was bigger than any show that I've ever seen at the Wave.
And we had seen Cake earlier in the show season, and it was crowded. It was, at that time I was like, that's the most people, but this crowd was even bigger, and they were into it, and it was awesome. And the Kids Aren't All Right is one of my all-time favorite rock and roll songs, and of course they closed the pre-encore portion with that as I'm like trying to use the restroom, and I had to like run out of line. I was next in line. Got a little, a mosh pit got a little crazy, and they had to break. But everybody was responsible. It was really good. So kudos to the Offspring. If they're listening right now, we appreciate it. And about to hit the road to wherever is next on this tour. It was really good, and I hope they come back, and I will definitely make it a point to see them. So that was fun. So we're following along as that's happening. Tommy's giving me updates on his phone to what was going on in the Royals game. I was giving him updates on my phone to what was going on at the TBT. And so we were following along that way. And then you kind of see how the Royals night at least progresses, and you have to play catch up. And look, we have known, and Royals fans, especially this year, have known Bobby Witt Jr. is one of the bright stars in baseball. What's happened here in the last 2 weeks or so, though, is now everybody else knows it too. Yeah, the home run derby allow him to take the stage and sort of introduce himself to casual baseball fans who probably watch generally their own team, and that's it. That's most baseball fans, right? You hear about these players and you see them and you read about them, and maybe you see them when they come, but you don't see them consistently. You don't really get the true feel of it. And then Bobby Witt Jr. goes to the home run derby, puts on a great show. And I think everyone's like, oh man, that energy, like that's fun. That's awesome. Then you get what he's done after the All-Star break. And now everybody can sort of see what's going on here. What Royals fans have been, drooling about for a while. Since the All-Star game, since the All-Star break, 4 games, Bobby Witt Jr. is 12 of 15. 12 of 15, 5 extra base hits, 6 RBI, 7 runs scored. Missed his chance at a cycle last night because he was hit by a pitch. We'll get into that. But he's now right in the center spotlight of all of Major League Baseball and its fans. And this is good for the Royals. It's crazy. It's wild. They've won 4 in a row. And people will be like, oh, man, don't think about the Royals. Now, again, casual fans probably aren't paying attention to what we've been talking about for a long time. They're playing bad teams, which is great. They're beating up on bad teams. You have to do that. But it is nice to see them in the center spotlight. And here's what I think that can all mean. Long story short, I think that increases the chances of something bigger at the trade deadline, because the fans will start buzzing about it a little bit more. The national media will start buzzing about it a little bit more. And I think I don't want to call it a hall pass, but I think the ability to be aggressive for something that could potentially get you down the road, where maybe normally you have to really be nervous about that. I think you get sort of a hall pass if you're JJ Picollo on some of that. The more buzz that builds over the next week, the more Bobby Witt, because now you're going to see all the quote unquote experts say, oh, the Royals, they got to go get something big. They got to do something special. They got a real chance here, led by Bobby Witt Jr. That's all been happening anyway. Now you're getting more of a green light, I think, from the national baseball, public, to go do something special. Again, if they can. I'm still not convinced that they can, but if they can, maybe less hesitant to do it now, the more this goes on the next week.
Remember all the concern, and it's not just been with Bobby Witt Jr., it's been in general. A lot of people have this concern in general when it happens, that players that enter the home run derby maybe end up pressing a little bit, or they change their swing, and then they end up not hitting well after the All-Star break. That's not really been the case for Bobby Witt Jr.
No.
After the All-Star break. In fact, it's been the exact opposite for him. It's been phenomenal. And he's been the best hitter in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. In just a few, it's only been 4 games since the All-Star break, but still the best hitter in those 4 games in Major League Baseball, going 12 of 15 in that stretch. For the Royals, There have been 3 times in the last 40 years that they've scored or that they have won 55 or more games in their first 100 games. That was in 1985, 2015, and this year. Both of those years, they won the World Series. So I know that it wasn't that long ago that we were saying, and I kind of was on this train for a long time, that it felt like this year maybe had more 2014 vibes than 2015 vibes, but maybe it actually has more 2015 vibes than anything else. I mean, if they are, kind of rounding into form and peaking as the season progresses and as we get past the trade deadline into August, into September, and down the stretch, they find themselves as of right now only 4 games back from the division lead. The Guardians are suddenly scuttling a little bit. They lost again last night. The Guardians have not had a stretch like what they've seen recently all season long. The Royals all year have been trying to close the gap against Cleveland and have been unable to do so. The Royals were extremely hot in the month of May, but so were the Guardians. And every time the Royals won, Cleveland won. They could never gain any ground. Not only are the Royals hot right now, but they've been able to gain some ground. The only caveat to that is that Minnesota is winning games also, and so you've got a third team in the mix in that division. But man, it really, like, not that long ago, I at least thought that, the division was out of the question, that the Royals were, pretty much like, I think they, at one point, they were even double-digit games back from Cleveland. They were a couple of games out of the wild card. If they can keep this stretch up, I mean, they're on pace for that 90 win mark at this point. They're pacing for that at this point in the season if they can continue playing baseball the way that they have been. And you know what, honestly, if they play like they did yesterday and at least through, from the weekend for the rest of the year, then that 90 win mark could easily be eclipsed. So, I mean, I think that there are a lot of different things to be optimistic about and encouraged about with Kansas City. Cole Reagans had a great start. It was another one of those complete efforts last night from Kansas City. And to your point, going back to what you had mentioned as far as the trade deadline, I think, and I brought this up a few weeks ago when we were talking about the trade deadline, I felt like the Royals at that time were not really buyers and not really sellers. Like, I really wasn't sure what direction they should take. And I was kind of an advocate for them to just sort of stand pat. Like, if I kind of was like, you know what, if they end up getting a wild card, great. But, they're probably not going to compete for the division crown. So just kind of hold tight with who you have or make some moves for 2025 if you're going to do anything. They have, I think, at this point, ever since, I don't know, probably the last couple of weeks or so, they have played themselves into a position where now I do agree with you. You can be more aggressive, I think, at the trade deadline to be a legitimate buyer, to get yourself over that hump, to be a legitimate contender in the playoffs. And, with the additions that you could potentially make, be a legitimate World Series contender at this point.
They for sure are. And look, for Cleveland, and we'll get into this a lot today. It's not that they couldn't run down Cleveland. It's that wasn't the one right in front of their face. That's not the one to focus on. Now, Cleveland is struggling a bit here, and maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. But it really is like they're playing against themselves, I think, and I think that's the way to look at it. I don't think 90 wins is going to be enough this year. I think it'll need to be like 92. I've said that for a while. I think there are too many
With
teams
the division or to make the playoffs
to get the playoff number. The division, I have no idea. I haven't worried a lot about the division. It's probably more than that for the division. I would think between those 3 teams, now you're talking maybe 94, 95. But I think to get to the postseason, if you can get to 92, I think you'll be there. 90, I mean, maybe. I just have a hard time over time not seeing some combination of the Yankees, Orioles, Twins, Royals, Boston, Seattle, Houston, Tampa, maybe Texas if they heat up. I doubt it, but maybe. That's a lot of teams that you're thinking gets to only 90 wins. So I still think you got to shoot a little bit higher that, but it doesn't matter as much as they're winning games they need to be winning. They're getting on a hot streak, and they just have to continue that. And in my opinion, they need to supplement it. We'll talk about last night in this division race specifically, just to sort of hit the trade deadline again as it relates to Bobby Witt Jr. You are seeing right now a Royals team playing with two of its best three players of all time. I'm pretty convinced of that now. We asked that question earlier in the season. There's always been George Brett. Is Salvador Perez going to become the next best Royal of all time? I think he is. And I think Bobby Witt Jr. could be better than both of them. You're playing with two of the three best players you've ever had in your organization right now at the same time. You're entering Bobby Witt Jr.'s, you're not even there yet, likely, into his prime years. You're still very much in Salvador Perez's offensively. You have, through incredible good fortune and hard work, built one of the deeper starting rotations in Major League Baseball. You don't need a ton. It is time to go all in. And it has been, I think, for a little while, because the window isn't just this year. Nothing they do is just about this year and, can they capture this year? They're still going to have two of the best three players they've ever had in their organization's history next year and the year after that. They're still going to have much of this starting pitching, and who knows, maybe all of it next year. They have the ability, we think, to continue to stay moderately aggressive in the offseason. So there should be now nothing that would prevent the Royals from being insanely aggressive. They don't have a good enough farm system to worry about giving up all your great young assets. They just don't. And so why wouldn't you go all in? So yeah, maybe it only ends up being Tommy Pham, as we've talked about ad nauseum. Maybe that's all they can get because they don't have much to trade. But now if Jazz Chisholm is attainable, you go get Jazz Chisholm. And those are examples not because they're specific players, but you know what I mean. Like you can ramp this up and be as aggressive as you want. And I think they showed us their willingness to do that in a reliever with some control. But there's no reason, and we'll see who ultimately ends up on the market. There's no reason that they shouldn't be one of the most aggressive teams at the deadline. Go find moves that only cost you money if you can, and make that happen, John Sherman, because the buzz around this team, that's what's happening post All-Star break. That to me is what has changed. And the only thing that has changed is how much now everybody's realizing how great Bobby Witt Jr. is, how great the Royals could be. Oh my God, the Royals. Man, look at the Royals. What are they doing here? They have some really good starting pitching. We'll talk about last night's game specifically as it pertains to the cycle. And we had, tensions high there between, the Diamondbacks manager. And I thought all of that was really interesting and quite frankly, really good. I mean, I don't like Bobby Witt Jr. getting hit, and I don't know if it was on purpose. I happen to not think it was. But we'll get into all of that and everything that came from it. We'll take your calls at 869-1240. We'll get to some of our video comments here on the streams, which you can find, of course, at 12 News Connected. Happy to be there. You can also find them on Facebook and YouTube. And you can get in touch with the program all kinds of different ways. If you're on the go, you can't listen in your car all the time. You can also find us, of course, on the Odyssey app. Lots of different ways to take in the program. We're happy to be here with you, getting rock and rolling on a Tuesday. Sports Daily coming right back.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Sports Daily on KFH. Tommy Castor, Jacob Albrock joining you here on the program today. One of these days, you're going to learn to unmute that microphone there, Jacob.
You've done this, for, I don't know, what are we going on, Jad? 10 years and not had to do that? And now all of a sudden and I love how Tom, there was a very judgy tone in that. Like, you're sitting in there where you're standing right now, having to unmute your own microphone. You are not doing that. And
I just
so
talk. I don't have to worry about doing anything.
yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that level of judginess my way, as I'm now 0 for 2 today.
There's an open seat right next to me. You are welcome to join me in studio whenever you want.
I'm still wearing the same shirt I was wearing at the Offspring concert last night, so I don't think you want that right now. Listen, we're back, baby, and I will tell you that the baseball coverage that we're providing you right now of Kansas City Royals baseball specifically is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile and you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. The Royals is who we're talking about, and you'll hear them tonight on KFH, 7 o'clock against the Diamondbacks on your home for the Kansas City Royals, KFH Radio. I'll give you a couple other details of why I keep swinging and missing on this microphone thing. So the reason this is there, if you missed it, we are now, we made what it seems like a switch that probably nobody ever notices, but what it does is allow us to have video interviews. And by the way, we'll bring in TJ Cleveland again today. He did happen to be at the TBT games last night, so we'll have him help us recap it since the two of us were rocking and rolling with the Offspring. We'll have TJ come in and help us dissect what happened last night at the TBT. So we make these changes. So in my ears, I have done this show, but been in radio for 20 years, TV for 20 years. I, generally speaking, know that if I can hear myself talking, when you have an IFB or you have headphones on, you can hear yourself talking. I know what that sounds like, and if I can hear that, I know I have a hot mic. So now with this new change we've made, I can hear myself talking even if my mic is muted. I cannot properly describe to you how strange that is to my routines of this industry for the last 2 decades. Normally, if I started talking and my mic was muted, I wouldn't hear myself talking and I would know my mic is muted. Now, no matter if it is or it is not, I can hear myself talking. So I didn't even realize it was muted now 2 different times until Tommy started talking. I'm like, damn it.
Well, the good thing is that there's on the video stream here where you've got like a little icon. You can look and see.
Yeah,
there's a little microphone icon, little slash through it. That means that it's muted. So just look for the little slash. It's like the no smoking sign.
I feel right now like when the pandemic was here and everybody was learning Zoom and nobody could figure out the mutes and unmutes. That's what I feel like right now. So welcome back, everybody.
Do this. So rather than me just starting segments, if your microphone is muted, I just won't start the segment and I'll start it by saying, "You're on mute. You're on mute."
Hey, listen, there may very well be a lot of people out there listening to the show that would prefer my microphone stays on mute. So, we may be doing a lot of people some favors here. We're talking Royals baseball here on Sports Daily. Let's set up an HTO giveaway for you before we dive into last night's game. You can win some free iced tea, some free Rain coffee right now, one of each. All you got to do is text the keyword T, TEA, to the short code 20357. You can enter once per day here. Message and data rates apply. More than 20 flavors of the tea. It's a great giveaway we like to do. So T, short code 20357. Good luck, everybody. We're talking Royals, and we sort of took the macro look in that first segment. Bobby Witt Jr., what he's doing, taking the attention of Major League Baseball. That is really good and really important for the Royals. So is winning baseball games, which they did again last night. Now 4 games in a row. That's where we start to, take this playoff chase into very specific territory as they're gaining ground, Tommy, on everybody. And, Cleveland loses again last night. Boston loses again last night. Seattle loses again last night. And so they just have to take care of their own business. And you get into a game like this, Bobby Witt Jr. going for a cycle, just a single shy of it, gets hit by a pitch. I didn't look. I went back, watched everything. The pitcher reaction tells me that was not on purpose. It doesn't make any sense that it would be on purpose. Terry Lovello came out, and the reason he was so upset is he wanted everybody to know, like, I'm not that big of an idiot. Why would I call for that? This guy's the future of baseball. We have absolutely no reason to hit him. We did not hit him on purpose because John Schreiber then came in and retaliated, it sure looked like, and plunked one of the Diamondbacks players. I think Lovello was right. Like, the umpires should have made it clear to everyone, like, they didn't hit him on purpose. And I don't know that the Royals needed retaliation. I certainly don't mind that they did it, because I think that's the kind of stuff that can fire you up. Getting Salvador Perez fired up like that sort of energy, I'm generally good with. I'm glad nobody got hurt. I don't like intentionally throwing at guys anyway. But in that circumstance, that's part of baseball. I thought it was fine. I had no issue. I'm glad for the Royals' sake that Schreiber had his back. I don't know that it was necessary, but I'm glad he did it. And I don't think it was on purpose, but that's the little kind of stuff, Tommy, within a season that can make a huge impact. I mean, that could fire up the whole roster here.
I thought it was on purpose. I watched it back a few different times. I thought it was on purpose.
Why would they throw at him, though?
I know that Castellanos had the reaction after he threw the pitch that made it look like he didn't mean to do that, and kind of like, didn't look particularly happy that that's what happened. And whether or not he meant to hit him I don't know if he was on purpose trying to hit him. I definitely think he was on purpose trying to pitch him in, and maybe the pitch got away from him slightly. But I do think that he was absolutely trying to pitch him at the very least inside. It was the very first pitch of the at-bat. Bobby Witt Jr. was 3 for 3. He had chased a couple of pitchers, hit a big 3-run bomb the previous at-bat, and chased Castro out of the game. The Diamondbacks had been showed up a little bit. And, keep in mind that Bobby Witt Jr. had gone 3 for 3 the hard way, and was a single short of the cycle the hard way. He went, triple, double, home run, and was only a single shy of the cycle. That's hard to do. Typically, when players are, one hit shy of the cycle, they're looking for a triple or they're looking for a home run. Bobby Witt Jr. had already accomplished the hard stuff. He was only looking for a single. It was the first pitch of the at-bat. I think that clearly the Royals bench took exception to it. Salvador Perez took exception to it on the on-deck circle. He was not a happy camper about it. So I get it. I understand their frustration. It would have been the first time that a Royals player had hit for the cycle since George Brett in 1990. It had been a long time. There had been a long cycle drought for the Royals. And I know that, they all wanted to see Bobby Witt Jr. do that. So I get the frustration. Bobby Witt Jr. had another opportunity in the 8th inning. He flew out, so it didn't ultimately happen for him. But I do like the fire. I do like the fight from this team. I mentioned yesterday in our discussion about Tommy Pham and coming into the Royals, about his attitude and his fiery personality, and how he's on record earlier this season. Tommy Pham said that he's always up for a fight. That was what he said on record. Like, that's just his personality. And I questioned about whether or not the Royals kind of needed that in their clubhouse a little bit, because you look at the Royals and they're a very positive, friendly, kind of like hug it out team. That's been the personality of Salvador Perez basically his entire career. Salvador Perez was heated last night. I don't know if I've seen Salvi that mad before. One of my first thoughts was, man, if Tommy Pham was in that clubhouse, if he was in that dugout while all of that was going on, he would have been, maybe the second one out on the field behind Salvador Perez. And, he would have mixed it up with the Diamondbacks when all of that was going down. So, I certainly think that, to your point, that's something that can carry on as the season progresses. Now, it's the first game in the series, so it bears watching if anything carries over into tonight's game, into the remaining games in this series. I'm not sure we're totally done yet. I know that the umpires wanted to try to get a handle of it. I know that Torey Lovullo got tossed last night for arguing, all of that. It wouldn't shock me, though, if we see more developments coming out of this situation tonight.
Again, if Castellanos was like a lone wolf on that, okay. I don't even think it was even that. I certainly don't think the Diamondbacks were like, hey, hit him. Like, the intent there, if it was intent, it would have come only from that pitcher, because it makes absolutely no sense otherwise. And I think Lovullo did everything he could to make that. He said, I wasn't trying to talk to Salvador Perez. I was trying to talk loud enough that he could hear me. There is absolutely no reason for us to do that. Like, there was nothing sparks that. So maybe Castellanos was lone wolf again. I don't think it was. Mike brings up a good point. I have wondered this with Mike over the years. Why doesn't the pitcher just go and apologize after they hit a batter. I wonder the same thing. Like, the pitcher could easily look at the batter and be like, yo, dude, that was totally my fault. Like, not on purpose. That one got away from me. I think that would go a long way. There's too much pride would be my only guess in that, Mike. For these guys, like, pitchers are the most sensitive creatures perhaps in the entire sports universe. They're very sensitive. They don't like the way people, look at them after they hit home runs. They don't like you to have any fun if you do something awesome. Like, they're a very sensitive crew. So maybe that's a part of it. I'm not sure. Ken brings up a point on this, that the broadcast crew agreed with basically with what Terry Lavello's point was, that the umpires should not have given warnings. They should have just let it go. They sort of escalated it, and maybe that's the case. I would sort of defer to people that have been inside it, like those guys have, to say that, yeah, that's probably correct. Now, of course, we were not everything we did was watch it in the aftermath. So I appreciate, Ken, you bringing that up, because I did not see the broadcast as it happened. I had to go back and look at all this stuff. But it was, look, again, despite all that, nobody got hurt by a player being hit. The Royals, retaliated. That's okay. They're protecting Bobby Witt Jr. I have no problem with that. And I do think these are things that can fire you up, but in a lot of ways, right? Not just in this kind of stuff can fire up a fan base. Bobby Witt Jr. is in all the headlines today, right? He's in all the headlines today. Everybody's paying attention, and they're seeing like, oh man, what in the world just happened there? What Bobby Witt Jr.'s 12 of 15 out of the break? What's going on with the Royals right now? Like, they're in the headlines, and I think that locally for them can put butts in the seats. And I think as that buzz builds, you're going to see it. I just think they're primed to go now and do something awesome. Ken also brought up a point that I was going to get to as we talk about the wild card chase. The Royals right now have the third best run differential in the American League. And so this is the kind of stuff we saw this very early in the year. Only the Yankees and Baltimore have a better run differential right now than the Royals. That is usually a pretty good indicator of how good a team is. And the Royals are right there. And one way to do that is to beat the crap out of bad teams, right? And so that's what has to, as we talk about all of these things, that's what needs to continue for Kansas City. We talked about these 16 games, and they have won the first 4 of them. The Royals play 16 games out of the All-Star break against teams who are not at 500. So 500 or worse than 500. Coming out of the All-Star break for the first 16 games. They've won the first 4. We wondered how many of those, do you need to win? I thought 12-4, 13-3, like that kind of stretch should be the goal. And they're on their way to doing something like that, but you can't let up. And so this kind of thing, to bring the energy like that, can be really important. They get a day off after the Arizona series. They have got to, though, Tommy, be able to lock back in and focus here. You've got Marsh going tonight against Jordan Montgomery coming back from injury. You never know with Jordan Montgomery. Remember of his postseason last year and how nails he was. He has not been good since, being kind of hurt early in the season. Not hurt, but not having a contract, not pitching early in the season. But you never know. Got to focus on this series. Got to try to keep the streak going. Don't let it get away from you, and get to that first break of these stretches, which is after the first 6 games. And boy, if you could start at 6-0, that's the way to go.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that, this is something, and not only the way that they're playing, but having this kind of motivation, can definitely propel a team. And being able to, have this sort of thing. And if Bobby Witt Jr., regardless if he was hit intentionally or not, and I do think that Castellanos was at the very least intentionally pitching him inside, regardless if he was intentionally trying to hit him or not. I don't know the intent behind that as a lone wolf, as you mentioned, or not. I do think he was trying to pitch him inside and maybe even high and tight a little bit. That's the sort of thing that can propel the team and can, get you to, potentially sweep the series. And this is a team like, they're playing the Diamondbacks. They're a game over 500. They've underachieved this year, but don't forget the Diamondbacks went to the World Series last year. They've got a lot of talent on this team. And the pitching hasn't been good this year, and it's an opportunity for the Royals to take advantage of it. But I do think that the Royals are playing at a level right now where it's not out of the question where they could win the next 2 games in this series and sweep the Diamondbacks and ultimately go 6-0 in this homestand.
I mean, that's the goal now, certainly. You know, another reason why this all gets Royals fans fired up, and I think big picture this is good, is because we got Earl on the line on the IHOP hotline 869-1240 calling about non-Chiefs content here, Earl. Earl, when was the last time you wanted to talk about the Royals? It's been a minute, right? This is exciting.
Oh, I talk about the Royals all the time, man. It's much like the Chiefs. You endure a lot of misery, but you get some bright stuff. So, you know, the Royals are part of my life, man, since my middle son's middle name is Brett. So, you know, I am deep into the Royals. But I will tell you this, and this is not just an opinion, in the flow of a game. Baseball games have a flow. I think we can all agree.
Sure.
Bobby Baseball was hit on purpose, and there's no question about it. I ran umpires out of West Urban for 10 years, man. I've been around it. I know. And look, you just sticking your beak in because you're rocking your socks off last night, little different thing. But when you're, you know, covied up and you're watching a game, the intent was obvious and clear. They were tired of this cat launching missiles at him, so he hit him. Now that pitcher can roll around and
it's the first game of the series, Earl. It's not like he was they
3 for 3 going into that at bat. He was
players are 3 for 3 all the time.
He was a single short of the cycle. He was 12 of 14 going into that at bat since the All-Star break.
Yeah, but 3 of those hits were against the Diamondbacks, not 9 of them.
Look, man, if like I said, if you watch the flow of the game.
I get you. I get what you're saying.
I mean, everybody's dauber went down when Bobby hit that 3-run bomb. And you could just watch them. Their reaction was, what the hell are we going to do with this guy? Well, what they decided to do is old school baseball. Let's plunk him, you know. And, you know, I think Sal should have run out there and put the Nolan Ryan on that old pitch, you know. Then he'd maybe give it a second thought. But the pitcher's acting job, come on, man. When you hit somebody, he went to the bad school of acting. It was like, oh, what have I done? Yeah, that was not real, his acting job, and it was as intentional as the day is long. And look, I understand you weren't watching the game. You weren't in the moment. And, you know, obviously your argument has logic to you. But in the flow of the game, they doinked Bobby Baseball because he was eating them alive.
Earl, have you seen The Offspring? I know you're a rock and roll fan.
I'm, you know, my kids introduced me to The Offspring because I'm a later generation, right? But the kids enjoy it. No, I've not seen them. But, you know, next week I will see Blues Traveler Tuesday night at the Wave.
You're coming into Wichita. Yeah. Blues Traveler.
Well, I saw him when the tour started in Hutch at that theater. And absolutely outstanding. And, you know, since I've seen Rush 93 times, you know, my bar of excellence at concerts is quite high. And Blues Traveler did it, and sounds like you enjoyed that with The Offspring, that guys go out there and still perform.
Yeah.
Hopefully the music wasn't piped in. Eagles lip syncing.
Whoa. Yeah, there are.
They do, and they have been. I mean,
don't know anything about that. No, these guys are not piping it in. I can
a little dive. It's kind of real. So, you know, yeah. But, you know, I enjoy musicians actually playing live music because that's what you're paying for, right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's a good show. And I'm listen, the point on the Royals is this. Whether it doesn't matter because everybody's now fired up about it. And that's what the Royals organization, we appreciate the caller. We got to take a break. That's what the organization needs more than anything else because they have let their fans down so mightily in the last 4 or 5 years. So now's the time to capitalize. And we've been, look, this is not a conversation that only started because of last night's baseball game and the circumstances. It is, though, they're taking care of the business they need to take care of at the time they need to do it to perhaps allow the organization to push all its chips in. And they got to keep winning these baseball games. And they'll take another swing at the Diamondbacks tonight, that game at 7:00.
You know, I agree with Earl. Like I said, I think that it was an intentional flunking of Bobby Witt Jr. At the very least, I think that it was intentional that Castellanos was trying to pitch in inside high.
I'll concede that for sure. Yeah.
At the very minimum, here's the thing, though. I think the most important part about all of that, the Royals stood up for their guy. Bobby Witt Jr. is the cornerstone of that franchise long term. And the fight that they showed, and regardless, who knows how it will carry over, if it will carry over into tonight or tomorrow night's game against the Diamondbacks. But I watched that, and I watched the way that John Schreiber, kind of defended his guy, and then the benches cleared and Salvi got in there and all of that. I'm like, this is a team that they're going to rally. They're going to rally around their guy. They're going to say, like, look, it's not just about us winning games. It's about us coming together as a team. To me, that's the mark of a squad that could potentially go a long way when October baseball comes around.
It'll be a fun week. We'll get more into the Royals in the second hour. We'll begin to preview tonight's game. We'll look at a couple bets there. We're going to take a quick break. TJ Cleveland, top of the hour, is going to help us go back through what happened at the TBT last night. Sports Daily, Albrocht and Castor, don't go away.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Wait, hang on. Who unmuted me? Who did that for me? I was ready that time. Jad, thank you. I'll give Jad all the credit for that. All right, we got a quick one here.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it either.
What? Are we? Yeah. Is this AI taking over for me? Hey, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I've had it all wrong. So it was unmuted for me that time. We're gonna we got a quick segment here. We got TJ Cleveland coming. TBT enters our attention span here, coming up top of the next hour. He was at the games last night. He can get us all caught up on Mass Street, on the Aftershocks. Mass Street advances. The Aftershocks do not. So we'll do that in the second hour. We'll take a look at this Royals game. Jordan Love. We got to get to Jordan Love today. Don't want to play without a contract. I'm fascinated by him. Quarterbacks are never not entertaining. We'll do it all. Hour number 2. It's all Brockton Caster at Sports Daily. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back. TBT Talk next.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door, or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
And we are back on a Tuesday. Glad to be here with you on this fine Tuesday morning, recapping Royals, TBT, an Offspring concert. TJ Cleveland joining us in just a second on the video stream, which you can find, of course, on 12 News Connected. Glad to have that partnership rocking and rolling. Want to say thank you also to Prairie Fire Coffee for fueling us up here in the mornings on KFH. Appreciate their support. TJ Cleveland does join us. He was at the games last night. If you are new to the program, or if you're just missed this week, we have created a way to do video calls on the show to support this video stream. Loving that ability, TJ. 2 for 2 on these. Thanks for taking some time away from the new college football video game to join us today. I know that's where the attention has largely been focused. So what have you had that game? About a week now? Like what over under 40 hours solid work you've put in on the game so far?
Oh, it's 100% over 40. Somebody was joking. I went up to training camp on Sunday, and I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to get on the road by 5 to get up there. And somebody asked how my sleep schedule was able to handle that, and I said, "Oh, I've been training for the last week. I've run on 4 hours of sleep because of the game, so it's working pretty well."
Younger days, I was right there with you. Now that would wreck me for a week, but I'm glad the game's treating you well. So TBT last night, you were there. We were not. We were speaking of staying up too late. We were, going into full, dad rock and roll mode of the 90s, watching the Offspring, jamming out. So I did not see the game. So we were trying to follow along. Some bets hit. I was good on Mass Street and the under and all of those things. So let's start there and we'll get to the aftershocks. So Mass Street, not only do they win convincingly over a team that I feel like has been good over the years. So that's two pretty convincing wins now from Mass Street. You've seen the good aftershocks teams that have been able to make runs over the years. Does this Mass Street team look to you like a team who might have a shot at this thing?
Yeah, I was telling my parents, I went to the game with them last night as a fan. They came last year because they're big KU fans, and we watched that team with T-Rob and all of those guys. And, they were pretty good, and they had kind of a loaded team last year. This year, they had a loaded roster. I don't think all the guys were able to make it out. So it's not on paper what we thought it was going to be. But they go like 6 deep, like 7 players deep maybe. Like they keep Frank Mason was in the court like the entire game, the past couple. And I told him, I was like, I can't believe that this is like a less loaded roster than it was last year. But I think that Frank Mason makes them so much better that they're a legit contender. I was telling them, if you've watched Frank Mason in college, it looks like you're still watching the same Frank Mason, which is unbelievable because he's 30 years old now. But, his NBA experience, he was a killer in the G League for all these years that he was in there. I think he's playing in France now, he said. It hasn't worn off at all. He still knows his game well and executes it well.
LeGerald Vick was the dude last night for Mass Street. 5 threes in the game. And, he looked like he hasn't, missed a step at all since he was playing inside Allen Fieldhouse. And he was somebody that, I really felt like when he was wearing a Jayhawks jersey during his time at KU, it was kind of feast or famine. Like he had the opportunity. A lot of times he could put up 20 plus points in a game, or he could be pretty quiet. And last night for Mass Street, he was pretty hot.
Yeah, I think that honestly, going back to Frank Mason, that's a product of that. LeGerald Vick's on the team last year, and it's a team that's centered around post play when you have Deidre Glosson and Thomas Robinson inside. That's kind of how they shaped it. This year, they really have a true point guard that can open all these other options. You kind of have to worry about that you leave an open shooter from outside. And like you said, in his college days, it was kind of the same story. It depended on the play around him because he's not a guy that was going to go out and be a facilitator and creator and go get his own points. He knew his role of, I've got all these other stars around me, and I just need to do my job. And he did it well last night, and he knows what he can do to help this team.
So as they move forward, and it is star-studded, Billy Preston's on this team, Deidre Glosson's still there. They've got those dudes with Frank Mason now put into the mix. Is it a team? I'll ask the same question. Is it a team, do we think, that can make that kind of run, that can go and take this thing all the way through? It's so unpredictable in this tournament, as we saw with the aftershocks, and we'll get to that. So unpredictable, and you have to be consistent, if nothing else. I would say it's looking like they're that kind of team because they can shoot.
Yeah, I think it like you said, shooting is definitely a big part of the tournament, especially, because it's such a single elimination. It's the same as March Madness. The farther you go, the less legs that you have. And if you can keep shooting the outside ball, you're going to be a better team because at the end of the day, you're going to lose your step after you've played 5 games in a row and stuff like that. And so I think, I was looking last night and watching the aftershocks in round 1. It was like Mass Street would beat them if they played like that. And you obviously have seen the caliber of how good the aftershocks have been. And, I think that they had enough talent, and the thing that makes the aftershock so good is the amount of basketball that they played with each other. And this team is such kind of a crapshoot of the teams that get thrown in. Of some of them are just buddies that are just playing pickup basketball, and some of them are guys that were college teammates and run the plays that they ran in college, and that really makes a difference between good teams and great teams. Mass Street has a little bit of that continuity. I asked Deidre Glosson about that the other day, and he said that he thinks that everybody on the roster played with somebody else on the roster at one point in time. So obviously, being Bill Self, that Bill Self plays. He's not a person that changes with the times or anything like that. If it works, he doesn't fix it. So I think that it is a team. Obviously, they got to get through Team Colorado now on Wednesday, who is a legit contender, especially when Andre Robertson, a former NBA veteran, can play like he played last night. He scored 20 points, and you know what he does on defense, watching just him play for the Thunder. But if they can get past Team Colorado, I think that those are 2 teams that I'd pick to compete with any of the teams watching.
One more about Mass Street from me. So you mentioned how this team obviously has a huge focus on shooting, where last year's team post play was really the priority. that's got to be a major focus and shift change, just with the change in coach of this team, going from the Morris twins to Sharon Collins this year. Have you been able to see just kind of that major shift in focus with the team, just based off of who's coaching this team?
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that, about the coaching shift and everything like that. The one thing from the coaching shift that I would say is that it's fun to watch Sharon Collins coach as he's actually starting his coaching career. He's been the head coach at Lawrence High School the past 2 years, I believe, and now he's going somewhere on the KC Mo side to go coach some KC Preps basketball. But seeing him on the sidelines, drawing up sets, you can tell that he's all about this, and he's getting all these guys to buy into what he wants to do. And I know that there's definitely Bill self-influence with him on the sidelines. So a lot of fun watching them. And then I think that they just know that he talked about after their first win about, when you got a guy like Frank Mason that goes out and scores 20 points in the first half, you understand that you need to run the ball through whatever Frank Mason wants to do out there and set up plays around him.
So the Aftershocks are not so fortunate, and I'm surprised, but at the same time, I think it might be a bad draw. Team Colorado's good. The Aftershocks have been good, but they don't make it through. What was the problem last night? What do you point to there?
It was back and forth the entire first half, and even my fiance Gabby watching the game made a comment last night that at the start of the second half, they went on a 12-0 run, I think, the Aftershocks did, and just kind of looked like nothing could stop them. Marcus McDuffie scored like 9 points in a row or something ridiculous like that. And they were up by like 15 points, and then all of a sudden you look up towards the end of the quarter and it's a tie game again. And so I think that there was just a quiet run that Colorado went on, just getting stops, and it wasn't anything flashy. It was just getting stops and making points and just doing their job and making it. And then by the time you get to the Elam ending, all that you can do is just try to keep it close if you're the Aftershocks, and they really did their job in that facet. I think they were down by 2 points or something like that whenever they went to the Elam ending finish. And then it kind of was just tough that Colorado made shot. I mean, they made 2 3-pointers in the final 8 points that they needed to get to. And, it just kind of came down to what the Aftershocks weren't in the driver's seat the entire fourth quarter. And I think that's not something that they're not used to being, in this tournament. They always kind of are in the driver's seat, and the margin of error is a little bit higher whenever you have that, and especially you have the home crowd and you're able to go into these Elam endings with a lead, or at least have some momentum going into them. Last night that wasn't the case, and they really had to try to claw back, and they went into scramble mode a little bit. They were kind of forcing some shots, just trying to get some points on the board, because they were just trying to stay in the basketball game, while Colorado made everything in the fourth quarter. Felt like the field goal percentage, I don't know what it was, but it had to have been insane in the fourth quarter. So, and then even you go down to the final possession, if you got a chance to see it, they played great defense for 30 seconds. They almost forced a shot clock violation, and then they missed the rebound by an inch, get kicked out, and they make a contested 3 to win it. That's just kind of the story of the game. Yeah,
after halftime, it was certainly a game of runs. I mean, the Aftershocks got out to a 44-33 lead in the third quarter, 12 unanswered points, really led and fueled by Marcus McDuffie in that third quarter. But then, as you mentioned, in the fourth quarter, Team Colorado, they had a 17-0 run in that fourth quarter, kind of entering into the Elam ending. And really, it was kind of uncharacteristic turnovers from the Aftershocks that sort of led to that 17-0 run by Team Colorado. To me, it seems like, and we know that there were so many different things that were uncharacteristic in last night's game from this Aftershocks team. The shots that Team Colorado made, the turnovers that the Aftershocks committed, and it just sort of seemed like just not something that we're accustomed to seeing, not only from the Aftershocks, but really any home team playing inside Koch Arena.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, thinking back retroactively, is I think that it kind of helps them and hurts them that they've played so much basketball in this tournament now, because Connor Frankamp's a common name around the entire tournament, that they know who their guys are going to be. And I think that, teams are starting to game plan more and more because they've played so much basketball in this. And so I think that really whenever they started to scramble, and I mean, in game one, they turned the ball over a solid amount in I don't remember what it was, but they had a span of turning the ball over and having to scramble a little bit there too. And, whenever they're scrambling, the other team kind of knows what they're going to lean on. And that used to be Connor Frankamp, of let him facilitate and set everybody else up. And I think that they had to shift a little bit. Marcus McDuffie took some more shots and he played well last night. And then I think that it was just a scramble of, that's the best way to put it, is it was just a scramble. And they didn't know who to go to because they've been game planned against now.
So as we look at it, and I do think Colorado had a ton to do with it, You've seen Mass Street now and Colorado, quite frankly. What do we think of Mass Street's chances to get through the Wichita Regional? Because I think it will probably be pretty tough. They'll get favored if we're looking at a betting line, but it seems to me like it's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, Team Colorado, obviously, on paper, is Andre Roberson's the star because the NBA player and everything like that. But the pieces they have around them, I can't even tell you their names just by watching. I know number 14, right, their point guard, is a scrappy veteran guy that's going to go and facilitate it well. He didn't play well last night, but he facilitated everything around him. The guy that hit the game winner, number 5, is just an outside presence. And they're just kind of built, honestly, like the Aftershocks in the same way that they have a guy that they kind of want to go around, but everybody else knows their role and is able to play. And that's what helps teams in this tournament. You look at the teams like the Midtown Prestige that gets knocked out in round 1. They had a guy that scored 30 points and everything facilitated around him. And so you kind of knew the hierarchy of they want to go to this guy. I think Team Colorado does well because they don't have that. Everybody on the team is going to be pretty good. But looking on paper, I think that it's going to come down to the defensive matchup of how they're going to use Andre Roberson. You know, Billy Preston's been kind of a star in this tournament as the second option behind Frank Mason. So they can take away Frank Mason or take away Billy Preston. They have to do one of the two. It's just going to be interesting to who they're going to game plan on this Mass Street team because there's a lot of talent. But it's, like I said, a very short bench. If they can get them running, then it'll be interesting.
Going back to the Aftershocks really quick, TJ, it's been a heck of a 3 or 4 year run for the Aftershocks and, definitely a disappointing ending this season for them. Do you anticipate changes with this squad? Do you think that this was kind of the end of an era for the Aftershocks or just a temporary setback and we'll see by and large the same kind of squad, the same coaching staff, and just kind of, they kind of reset and reload for next year?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably just going to be a reset. That'll be the same guys coming back and everything like that because this is the core of the Aftershocks. It's the core of the recent awesome years of Wichita State basketball that I think that everybody wants to be here. All these guys. I don't know if you guys saw Taylor's story last night about Rashard Kelly, like driving 11 hours to get on a plane to get here in time because this means so much to these guys and they just want to be in Wichita. So the one thing that stuck out to me is that, losing early in this tournament, it's really kind of been they've been a wrecking ball, and the TBT really respects that and knows how much attendance they can bring and everything like that. Obviously the attendance the past 2 games, with it being a first and a second round game, wasn't what it was last year, getting 7,000 people there and everything. So getting bounced early and the attendance being a little bit lower makes me wonder what the TBT is going to do because all these bigger programs are getting into it. Rupp Arena hosted this year, Louisville hosted this year. Makes me wonder if they're still going to respect Wichita enough to let them keep hosting year in and year out like they have. So if they do next year, I think that the attention really turns towards the Aftershocks to, get some fans in there and perform.
I'd have to see the attendance numbers at those other places. I would still, even though it's been a little less for Wichita, I wonder this all the time, it's still probably more than most. So yep. I don't know. I mean, maybe 1 year, who knows, but it's been a blast. I hate that they lost. So we get Mass Street, we get Team Colorado. That'll be Wednesday night. 12 News will have us covered there, TJ. Anything fun or special coming up then on Wednesday for it?
We'll just have some live coverage beforehand. It's the 8 p.m. tip-off, which is the killer for local TV. So we're going to have to get creative a little bit and see what we're going to do there. But we'll definitely have some presence there one way or another.
All right, TJ Cleveland, 12 News Sports Director. Breaking news, Patrick Mahomes threw a touchdown pass to Rashee Rice in training camp today. Just seeing that, everybody. Oh. Hey. No, we appreciate it, TJ. Good luck Wednesday. We'll get a look at that. All the coverage there at 12 News. You're, of course, watching us on 12 News Connected, and we'll see the coverage on Wednesday as well on 12 News. TJ, get back to college football video game.
All right, it's very hard. I need some practice. Thank you, guys.
All right, there goes TJ Cleveland, 12 News Sports Director. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. A couple NFL storylines I want to get to. We can check in from Chiefs camp. But I want to talk about this Jordan Love situation. Here we go. This one's interesting, I think, for the Packers to have to make a decision here. Seems like a no-brainer. Is it 1 year? Kind of. He's been around a long time, though. We'll talk about it next. Sports Daily, Albrecht and Caster. Don't go away.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door, or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated?
How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Thanks to TJ Cleveland to 12 News for hopping on with us there on the program. This portion of the program brought to you by Crestview Country Club. It is golf and weather out there. Take advantage. It's not so hot. We're back to normal July, which is just fine for us here. Kids are about to go back to school. They're still doing all the kids' camps out there. The pool's open. It's been a minute. We went through all the swim team stuff there at Crestview with our kids. Now we haven't been to the pool in a while. Kind of need to get out there and get to the pool.
My wife and my kids went swimming yesterday, like right before you and I went to the concert last night. So they were walking in the door, a little early evening after dinner swim. They were walking in the door as I was walking out to go to the concert. So got a chance to see them. I mentioned, by the way, on the show that I played golf out at Crestview on Sunday. You didn't ask me about my score, though.
I did not. That's correct.
And I told you it was my best round of the year. So I didn't even get a chance to share that until today. So I'm a little disappointed in that.
We're happy for you. Where does that rank with talking about your fantasy football team on a Monday around the office? Like, where does "You'll Never Guess What I Shot" rank with, man, my fantasy football team kicked tail last night? Like, if we're putting those into like things that we talk to people about that they very clearly don't care about, how does that stack up?
I would rank my golf score higher than fantasy football because
as far as like
physical ability.
No, I mean, but what I mean is, like, would you rank it higher in the part that like people don't care? Like, people care less about your golf score or less about your fantasy football score?
I don't know. I don't care if people don't care.
I know. Well, we don't. Right. Nor do we about fantasy football because we're going to tell everybody anyway.
I'm not telling you because I think you care. I know you don't care. I'm telling you because I care. That's the only reason.
I'm really excited for you. Is this what our wives, is that how our wives feel like when we're trying to tell them something? Like, that sounds great. And we do that, same with us. Like, I'm so happy that you saved so much money by spending all that money on whatever it is that you did. I'm so happy that you saved all. Like, are we doing that right now? I think that's where we're at with that particular conversation. But I'm happy for you at Crestview. Was it north or south?
It was the north course. I shot a 79. That's not my best score ever, but it's my best score of the year. And so I was very happy about that. It was a good round. And I hope it's one of those rounds that you get done playing and you're like, I don't want to be done. And now I want to go back out and play again today and, again the next day and again the next day.
I've been trying to play a little bit more. I've been, 9 holes at a time is about all I can get. I still haven't, I've played 18 holes one time this year. But the 9-hole thing, and I'm we're coming along, but I'm really excited for you, and your score. I think you should go talk to your wife about it and see what she thinks about your score. Yeah,
I tried to break it down hole by hole, shot by shot, how I did.
You should have seen this draw on 12. Yeah. I had such a good draw on it. I just went right around
maybe one hole and she was clearly tuning me out, which I think she does in general. It doesn't matter what I'm talking about. So
yeah, that's married life. We all do it to each other. Jordan Love, are you tuning this out? Because look, I don't know what to think about this one. You knew it was coming, and I'm surprised the Packers have let it get to this point. If you haven't seen the news, basically Jordan Love says he's not practicing till he gets his contract extension. And normally I would say, 1 year, buddy, like, get out there and prove it. You had a nice year and all of these things. And he was just sort of inside the top 10. I like Jordan Love. I think his upside is high, but just, as an aside, like Derek Carr and Russell Wilson had higher quarterback ratings than Jordan Love last year. Not that that's the end all be all. I'm just, just going to throw that out there. Like, he's still ascending to, when you see the upside. And we haven't seen much of him. But here's where it's different. And here's where I get it. And it ain't his fault he had to sit back and wait like that. So the Packers they find themselves in a unique situation of their own creation. And now you're getting to the point where it is reasonable that he wants a deal because he has been around a while. It's not like he was a rookie last year or he sat out 1 year last year. Last year was finally the first time he got an opportunity. He was pretty good. And we know you got to pay quarterbacks in this league. And of all the quarterbacks that have been paid, they got to pay Jordan Love, don't they? Like, why is this the thing?
I think they do have to pay him. I mean, just the way that he not only came into that role, but the way that he was patient enough to wait for the job to be his, and he never complained about it, at least from what I can remember. He was incredibly patient, biding his time, knowing that it ultimately would be his job. Then think about all the other quarterbacks that came out of his draft class or around the time, or even were drafted after him, that immediately were put into a starting role, or even the next year. And he sat on the bench and he waited. And it wasn't that he had a lack of skill to be a starting quarterback. It was just the Packers were very deliberate with their plan. They were very strategic. They knew exactly what they were going to do. They knew he was going to be the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers. They knew when Aaron Rodgers was probably going to be leaving the team, and they had their plan. And Jordan Love went along with it, and to my knowledge, never really pushed back on it. He has done everything that the Packers have asked him to do in his career. He wants to get paid now. He is their starting quarterback, and they were a much improved team in that division a year ago. And by all accounts, they should continue to be a much improved team. Will they be the division winner in the NFC North this year? I don't think so. I think the Lions are going to be the presumptive favorites. And then, from that point on, I think the Bears are an unknown because of Caleb Williams and the way they've got that offense rebuilt. And who knows what the Vikings will be with J.J. McCarthy. But I do think that knowing the way that Jordan Love has, improved the offense of the Packers, they certainly could be a playoff contender this season. And so knowing that he's done everything they've asked him to do in his career, he's asking to get paid. I think they should pay him, obviously. And I don't blame him for the first time in his career saying, you know what, I don't think I really want to practice until I actually get paid.
He's right. He's right. Unfortunately, this is how the negotiation works in the NFL. Here's what it comes down to. If you're Gutekunst and the Packers, and you have to answer this question before you get to anything else. Is he worth it? Is Jordan Love worth $50 million a year? Would you pay him?
I think he is.
Yeah, I do too.
I think
relative
choice you have if you're the Packers.
Correct. Yeah, relative to your options and to the market and what it is. We know that you cannot win in this league without a great quarterback. We know that for the most part, you cannot win in this league without a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, at least when we're talking Super Bowls. And so if you have a quarterback, and there is such a clear difference between, the guys who can cut it in the league and the guys who cannot, that you don't really have much of an option when you get there. It's a little bit different than, let's say, the Cowboys and the decision that they've got to make with Dak Prescott. They're trying to evaluate whether he's the guy. Where are they as an organization? The Packers aren't asking those questions. Everybody on the planet feels like that's an ascending organization, right? With a young quarterback who it is time to take a chance on him. Very different than some of these situations that quarterbacks find themselves in. He waited his turn. He went out there and he absolutely proved it last year. And if you're the Packers, this is sort of exactly how you wanted this to go, isn't it? Like, you wanted him to sit back. You wanted to run with Rodgers. Now he gets out there. He looks like he's pretty good. Now you have to pay him. I don't understand how this one got to this point. That's the part that I don't quite understand.
I think it's a non-issue in the whole scheme of things. I don't sense a whole lot of friction. I don't sense a whole lot of drama. I don't think that, this is something that's going to drag out long term. There's a reason why Jordan Love is doing this now, as opposed to doing it in August, late in August, at the very beginning of September, where there could potentially be a risk of him missing preseason games or, God forbid, regular season games. Like that's not, I don't think, on the table. He's doing it right now because this is the bargaining chip that he has to get a new contract. The Packers don't have another option. They have positioned Jordan Love as the quarterback of the future for this franchise since day one. Since the day they drafted him, he was the quarterback of the future. They have put not only resources in the fact of time into him, but resources and developing under Aaron Rodgers and all of that. Like, he's their guy. And to the Packers' credit, they've never wavered from that. It's not like they've ever drafted anybody else at quarterback since Jordan Love. It's not like they have entertained or been rumored to be entertaining other quarterbacks in the free agent cycle or trading for anybody. Like, it is Jordan Love. It's Jordan Love's job. Even when there, I think, was skepticism when Aaron Rodgers left town and nobody had ever seen really Jordan Love play in the league. Like, will he be able to take over, the torch? Like, the torch is being passed to him. Can he take it and run with it? He's been able to do that, and he's ran with it. And so the Packers have never wavered as him as the starting quarterback long-term for this franchise. So I don't think that there's a major issue here. I think a deal will get done because the Packers have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I think it'll get done too. I do not think, though, that is a foregone conclusion that Jordan Love's going to be awesome for the next decade. I need to see more on that. I just think the Packers don't have a choice financially in what they're doing here. If he is good, right? Like, if he's really good and he's making Pro Bowls and doing all these things, has there been an organization better at doing quarterback, at evaluating quarterback at whatever than the Packers over the last 30 years? Like, has there been a better run of Favre, Rodgers, potentially Love, Hall of Famer, and what appears to be at least a pretty good player? I don't know that there's been, and this is top of my head, so I'd really have to think about this. Like, has anyone had that level of continuity at that position like they have that you can think of?
No. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, they've done a really, really good job going all the way back to Brett Favre. And Brett Favre was a reclamation project when they brought him in.
Yeah.
The Falcons didn't want him, and they didn't think that he would be a successful quarterback in the league, and, turned into one of the best quarterbacks in that era, no doubt about it. So, and then being able to hit on Aaron Rodgers, and, it looks like by all accounts that they're going to hit on Jordan Love. Will Jordan Love be a star in the league? I don't know. I think the jury is still out on that, but can he be a successful quarterback? Yeah. I mean, I think that he's shown that already in his young career. And I do think that strategy with Jordan Love so far has paid off. I equate it to an extent, the way that the Packers have evaluated quarterbacks over the last 30 years to the way the Steelers have evaluated head coaches
or wide receivers.
Yeah. Or wide receivers. But I mean, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, they've been 3 head coaches. Like, then that's really kind of been the way that the Steelers have operated from a coaching perspective. That's the way the Packers have operated from a quarterback perspective.
The Niners are the only one that kind of comes to mind as in the conversation. Of course, Montana to Young, and then I don't remember who took over right after Young.
They had a lot of turnover. I mean, Jeff Garcia was there for a minute.
Yeah, Garcia was pretty good. Alex Smith was fine. Kaepernick, while he was the starter, was fine. And then they have sort of bounced around. So even them, not really. The Packers, like, they have what looks like the ability to just sort of not ever have to skip a beat for 3 generations of quarterback in the NFL. That's pretty wild. That is pretty wild to think about, but that's where they are in this. And yeah, they got to get it done. I do think it's one of the more interesting holdouts now as we wait on Jamar Chase and we wait on these others. I'd sort of forgotten about Jordan Love, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, he's not going to practice. I'm like, oh yeah. Like, he's been around. He's probably due for a contract. And here we go. And they'll give him one. But knowing they're going to give him one, and they are, why are we here now? Training camp's here. Why has this not been done? That's the curious part of it. Like, what are we doing? Like, what you cannot kill the momentum that you built last year. Give me a break. So we'll see. But Jordan Love wants a whole bunch of money, and they're going to give it to him, and they're going to give it to him whether he's worth it or not. I think he's again, he's had a year to show it, and he did. They gave him the opportunity. He went out there and he earned it by relative NFL standards, right? Yeah. To what get quarterbacks paid. And you look across the league at the quarterbacks that have been paid. I think he's at least earned that. And the Packers are, they're in this situation because they chose to be in this situation. But don't fumble it now. Like, go get it done. Even if I don't think they will either, but I think they have to some degree by letting it get to even this point. Like, why are we in training camp and this is a problem?
I think it's ultimately going to be inconsequential. Again, like, it's not like
our guy who's only been a starter 1 year, though. Like,
I don't think he's missing meaningful opportunities here. I mean, I think that there are, we'll talk about this again in 2 weeks, or in a month. If it drags out that long, okay, then I'm willing to have a conversation that this could be an issue that might negatively impact the chemistry of this team and how things are set up. But as of right now, I don't have any concern. I think that it'll be done sooner rather than later. And by that, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there's an announcement by the end of this week that they've come to terms on a deal. The thing about it too is that the market is set. There aren't other quarterbacks that are, at least to my knowledge, that are currently negotiating deals right now that are in the same situation as Jordan Love. So he kind of has, like, he's doing it on his own right now. It's not like he's competing with other quarterbacks on deals. So it's like he knows where the market stands. His representation clearly knows that too. So they can go and they can get a new deal done with the Packers, who I think by all accounts probably are eager to get something done as well. Get it done by the end of the week. I think you see him back out at practice next week, and it's a moot point.
We always sort of have to ask, does this guy deserve to be the highest paid quarterback in the league? And that's probably what he wants to do, is reset the market. And that's what they're trying to evaluate, I would imagine. But at some point, like, you got to understand the business of this thing. It doesn't matter. You just got to do it. That's how the NFL works. All right, let's take a quick break. 869-1240. Let's come back. We'll take a look at the Royals tonight from a betting perspective. Anything out there we like in the opportunity against the Diamondbacks, we'll do that. When we return, it's all Brockton Caster. You can win some HTO. Don't forget, text the keyword TEA to the short code 20357. We're coming right back with more Sports Daily after this.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated?
How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Daily here on KFH. Football coverage on KFH presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile and you can get tons of benefits. Still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. I joked about a touchdown pass to Rashee Rice at training camp. More notably, I think today, it sounds like, Tommy, that Wanya Morris is taking all the first-team reps at practice. And I would imagine that that is of significance because they are going to have to come up with some sorting of things. And look, if he's looked better in practice and they're rotating guys out and he's looked the best, he needs to be the starter no matter what else is out there. If he's the player playing the best at the position, he needs to just be the starter at the position.
The question then just becomes, if he's the best at the position between the two, that's one thing. But is it the best that, he needs to be to protect Patrick Mahomes? And is it the best of what they have available, or is it actually, the best that, and effective? Will he be an effective left tackle? And I know that, they had high hopes for Wanya Morris, and I'm sure they still do. And that's probably why he's getting all the first team reps. I'm not doubting him, but that is an extremely essential position, as we all know. And it's been the position that's had the most turnaround. It's the position that has had the most turnover. And so they've got to try to find a way to solidify that. My hope, my sincere and genuine hope, is that whether it is Wanya Morris or Kingsley Suamataia, that one of them sticks, that they become the long-term answer and they are effective at left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. And this doesn't become, or continue at least, to be the constant conversation year in and year out about what they need to do to fix left tackle. So if it becomes Wanya Morris, that's fantastic. That's my only question, though, is if he's getting all the first team reps and if he's the starter, is it that he's the best out of the two, or is he actually an effective left tackle? That's the only thing.
I don't think he's had a fair shake. He's a third-round pick. Last year was his first year in the league. They obviously had high expectations for him, or they wouldn't have taken him in the third round. I think there's absolutely a world where Morris and Suamataia, who they took in the second round this year, become your tackles, and Jawan Taylor moves out. There's totally a world where Wanya Morris is your left tackle. They spent high draft capital on a player like him. I mean, a third-round pick. It's not all that different than Kingsley Suamataia. So, and that is a part of the draft. They've been good at finding these guys. I think there is certainly a scenario where he elevates his game into that starter's role, and it's for a good reason, right? Because he's become a better player in the offseason. He's a second-year player. I don't know that we've given enough credit to that, because we saw Donovan Smith and we saw Jawan Taylor, and neither of those guys. But Wanya Morris was a young player that could elevate himself into that position for sure. So could Suamataia. And guess what? If that bumps Jawan Taylor on the right side, the Chiefs have accomplished their goal, I think, long-term by finding the two tackles in back-to-back drafts. That's what we'll see. But if Morris is earning the spot because he's playing well, heck yeah. I think that's one of the best things that could happen for the Chiefs this offseason, quite frankly. All right, let's look at the Royals tonight. They play at 7 o'clock, looking for their 5th straight win. Bobby Witt Jr. looks to continue his streak. There may be a little animosity in there. The Royals on the money line right now, Tommy, are minus 115. They are actually not favored tonight. The Diamond, this according to ESPN Bet, the Royals are not favored tonight. The Diamondbacks are behind Jordan Montgomery. So I think that's pretty interesting. You can get, minus 115 there. Well, I guess they would be slight favorites. Let me take that back. They're slight favorites. It's almost perfectly even. Is this another game where you take the run line and try to get some plus money on that? I think it certainly could be the way they're playing. I think that's absolutely a place to look, is to the Royals run line. If you did that right now, you'd get them at plus 170 if they win by 2 runs. That sounds pretty good to me.
I mean, I think the line is where it is, not only because of Jordan Montgomery, but also because you don't always know what you're going to get from Alec Marsh. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, he could, spin a gem or he could get blown up. It's kind of one extreme or the other, typically, from what we see from Alec Marsh. And so you wonder, will it be the good Alec Marsh or will it be the bad Alec Marsh? He pitched a pretty good game the last start that he had, but that was all the way back on July 10th. As we've talked about before, we haven't seen Alec Marsh start a game since then. He came out of the bullpen, right after the All-Star break briefly, but we haven't seen him start since I think it was that doubleheader, one of the games in the doubleheader against the Cardinals back on July 10th. He went 6 innings in that game. He did give up 3 runs on 3 hits, but he had 8 strikeouts, and the Royals won that game on the road against the Cardinals. So I don't know. I mean, I think that, you have to wonder, will there be any kind of, rust that he has to shake off? I know they gave him an inning in relief over the weekend on Friday, but will there be any kind of rust? It's been a couple of weeks since he started a game, so I do wonder about that.
All right, so here's one for you, and I may do this one for fun because I like that run line. And it really is like, do you think Bobby Witt Jr.'s streak continues tonight? You can get right now total bases, Bobby Witt Jr. over 2.5 total bases, and the Royals minus 1.5. You put those together, and on ESPN Bet, you get to plus 395. Plus 3.5, almost 4-1, basically. 4-1 for Bobby Witt Jr. and the Royals to both continue this together. Yeah, I might have some fun with that on a small number tonight. That's kind of where I'm at. It really is like, do you want to miss out on the opportunity here to strike while the iron's hot? And there was a portion of this season when the Royals got hot earlier in the year, they made a lot of money. They made me a lot of money because you just kept going back to the well until they, while they're on this heater, they beat people. They beat people badly. The players get hot. So that's something to think about. Is that bet there with the Royals tonight? So there's that for you. When we look at it, with Marsh, the offense just be ready to bail him out. I mean, is that kind of how we're, maybe you get a gem, maybe you don't, but, sometimes pitchers get great offensive performances consistently. So that's kind of how I look at him now. You'd like to see the Royals offense just give him a little run, and probably they'll need to lean into the bullpen a little bit more than they have through some of these starts out of the All-Star break.
Well, and the offense has, come out hot since the All-Star break. Of course, 10 runs last night against the Diamondbacks. And then, the way that they hit against the White Sox over the weekend, the offense is coming alive. Jordan Montgomery, though, will be the best pitcher that the Royals have faced since the All-Star break. So, do we expect another 10 runs coming from the Royals in tonight's game? Probably not. Probably not. But I do think that that's going to have to be the way that the Royals get the win tonight, is that I don't think you can expect a gem from Alec Marsh. If you get it, that's a bonus. So I think it's going to have to be the offense coming out early, getting some run support. And then, if you can then lean on the bullpen, because I think that Alec Marsh, if you can get 5 or 6 innings out of him where he gives up 2 or 3 runs, that's about, I think, typically what you can expect from him, or what you should expect from him. If it's better than that, outstanding. It's a bonus. But 5 or 6 innings, 2 or 3, maybe 4 runs from Alec Marsh, the offense should do more than that, and then lean on the bullpen to have, a solid back half of the game. And I think that's going to be a good recipe for success.
Yeah, I do too. I think it'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. And I think that they're going to continue the win streak tonight, even with Marsh. And then if they do, then your eyes get big if you're a Royals fan, right? If you make it through and you get the Marsh win, then you rotate back through the rest of that, and this thing really could pile up. But we'll see. You'll hear the game tonight at 7 o'clock right here on KFH. We're going to take our final break. We'll come back, put a bow on this thing. Don't go away. Sports Daily returns next.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door, or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated?
How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, that's it for us, everybody. We have, we've got Infinity Sports Network programming. Jim Rome following us immediately. Bob and Jeff locally, and then the Royals, 7 o'clock tonight, trying to make it 5 wins in a row. Our thanks to TJ Cleveland for hopping on to talk a little TBT with us. You'll see his work on that on 12 News. Of course, we're with 12 News Connected. Thanks for listening, everybody, on KFH. If you missed anything, go to the Odyssey app. Tommy, we'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good. I'm going to try to take a nap. I'm a little tired, a little rocked out from last night.
Yeah, a little rock and roll for us. We'll see you then.